Hello, Charles. My name is Justin Hardy, and I am the lab specialist for public speaking. And I'll be working with Rebecca Lane this month in reviewing and evaluating slideshows, and I'll be reviewing your slideshow today. Now, from the get-go, your imagery that you use, the pictures that you use throughout your slideshow, are all very, very good. They fill up the slide space. There's no pixelization. There's no distortion. Every image that you're showing us is clear, and it makes sense within the context of your presentation, which is exactly what we're looking for. You've also got citations on every image, and that's another thing that we're looking for, and we're glad to see that. And it's good that they're all small, so they don't take away from any of the visuals that you're providing us. Now, starting from the top, I want to talk about your text choices here. I noticed that your font changes from the very first slide to the next slide to the next slide. You use a couple of different fonts here, and that's fine, but you have to make sure that you keep consistency in mind when you use your fonts. You generally, if you're going to use multiple fonts, want to stick to two. One that looks kind of unique and another one that's a little bit more legible, so you have a nice visual contrast between the two. But you don't want it to be too distracting. What I'm seeing here is just completely different fonts being used across different slides. Now, they're the same family of font. They're all sans serif fonts, and that's the one we would like you to use, but make sure that you stick with the same font throughout the entire slideshow. And I notice here that you're kind of tuning the color of the font to the particular image. The more dominant the color, the more likely you're going to choose that color for your font, such as here where you have the LEDs in the middle on the speaker, on the boombox. They're the same color as the font choice that you chose there, and that's interesting, and it looks good. But you want to be very clear about how you're going to represent that through your whole slideshow. Notice again that you don't kind of go for that same look, but if you do say go for the colored font. In this case, it doesn't really match the background, so it wouldn't make sense to use anything other than the white color that you've kind of established on this slide here. And then you go to black here. So keep your font color and keep your font type more consistent throughout your slideshow. And I think that's the biggest issue with your slideshow is the color of font that you're providing from slide to slide and the font choice that you're providing from slide to slide. Even the weight of the font, if the font is identical. Notice that you're bold on this slide and italic on this slide. Try to keep the same orientation and the same color and the same font from slide to slide to slide to create that visual consistency that we're looking for. Because you achieve it with your visuals. All of your visuals are high-end, beautiful photography. The only problem is your font choices are a little bit more varied than what we're looking for. And the positioning of your font changes from slide to slide. So it's a little tough to kind of rely on a certain location in which we can see information from slide to slide to slide. So your lack of consistency in your text is essentially the only weakness within your slideshow. You're doing everything else as we've asked. For example, the notes that you have beneath your slide, those all relate to how you're going to incorporate your visuals into your presentation, which is exactly what we're looking for. And I'm glad that you're asking yourself questions about, like, why should my audience listen to me? That's excellent. You're thinking about how to tie everything that you're bringing together into an experience that the audience will take something from. And that's what we want to see. That's fantastic. Overall, your slideshow is very well produced. The only weakness is how you present your text and your information to us. So that's what we want you to consider and refine from this slideshow forward. Make sure that you consider carefully where you put your text within your slideshow, that it remains consistent in that same location, and you can achieve this through the use of translucent shapes, or the pictures that you choose, or the color of text that you choose. There are several different ways that you can go about it, but we want to see a bit more consistency in how you're delivering your textual information to us. Overall, your slideshow is very good. Keep these elements that we've talked about today in mind going forward with your future slideshows, and have a good day.